Part 3. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, Detective with 6 ears. Chapter 21. The host broke the news and preached the method, the revelation level SS, the reaction level, half believed. Overall rating, S grade. The host obtains the foundation of the Great Dao, and the Honghuang purple chi is wisps. The host obtains one source of power, and one source of war. The host has obtained supernatural powers, and one gas is cleared. The host has gained mana for 200,000 years. The host gets one of the origin of war, and the task completion rate is 1/10. The host divulges the heavenly machine, reveals the righteous method, intercepts the heavenly machine, divulges the heavenly machine, and obtains some merit. The merit is not settled. Damn. Lu Gui was washed away by 200,000 years of mana, and his cultivation was instantly towards the late stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal. The powerful mana made Lu Gui's body skyrocket. Under the stunned expression of the 12 ancestral witches, he was promoted to the late stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal. After being promoted, he was surrounded by merit and immortality. A breath of dust surrounded Lu Gui. The hair on his body gradually receded, turning into a human form. This transformed Lu Gui is no different from the body of Pangu, who does not show his true body. This monkey is quite good looking. Xianming and Hutu glanced at Lu Gui without a trace. Lu Gui looked left and right. He has been a monkey for so many years, and he is really not used to becoming a human? As soon as he moved, he transformed into a 6-eared macaque. Or be comfortable as a monkey. Honghuang purple chi, S-level rewards have Honghuang purple chi. I feel sorry for Lao Tzu. Lu Gui took stock of the rewards, and the first time was not happy, but distressed. He sold the news of his sanctification, and these people still half believe it. He has one less evaluation, which can make people's hearts hurt to death. It's about the Great Dao, no matter how good I say, whether it's the Hutu girl, or the sticks, or I don't have full faith. Mard, you can't do this in the future, it's a waste of money. Lu Gui was depressed for a long time, but reason told him that there was no way to do it. His authority has not been established, and it is useless to hide this material. Now that she has revealed the fierce news of the Taoist method, it was originally what Hung Jun would say in the future. He didn't say it, Hung Jun said it, and he wasted a fierce material. He could only console himself that after this incident, at least his authority could be further established. When the time comes, there will be no such thing. However, the distressed Lu Gui doesn't plan to break other fierce news, and now it is a waste to break out. The fierce information about the lich measuring tribulation must be above the S level. Looking at the current appearance of the 12 ancestral witches, he estimated that these guys were not completely convinced of him. But it's okay, Lu Gui doesn't want to break out so much information in one go. After all, if Hung Jun is forced to be in a hurry, he can't eat and walk around. Improving strength is the key. When I preach the mixed Yuan de Luo Jin Immortal, I won't be afraid that Hung Jun will trouble me. Fortunately, there is Honghuang purple chi, otherwise I would have been killed. Honghuang purple chi can make Lu Gui comfort a little, and he tries to shake the loss away. After Lu Gui made up his mind, he saw that Hutu's sister wanted to speak and stopped. He also knew what Hutu wanted to ask, so he found an opportunity to interrupt in time. The 12 ancestral witches and his trust have not yet been fully established, so there is no hurry to break the news. Mr. Monkey, I'm convinced. The witch house of my witch clan is in the depths of the Pangu Palace. Come with me, sir. The head of the 12 ancestral witches, Dejong, spoke and counted, and walked with Lu Gui to the depths of the Pangu Palace. Brother, I'll go too. I'll go too. Ho Tu and Xianming opened their mouths together and followed the 12 ancestral witches in. This ancient hall, since the opening of the world, Dao is the first person to enter. Hutu girl walked in front of Lu Gui, Smiling skillfully, wisps of fragrance wafted out of her body and seeped into Lu Gui's nose. "Monkey, how do you know so much?" Xianming also asked Lu Gui with interest. She forgot the grievances between the two for a while, and was very curious about Lu Gui. "Sister, be careful." Hu Tu opened his mouth to stop Xianming, and Xianming realized that it was wrong to do this, and stuck out his tongue, a little embarrassed. Lu Gui smiled, "This is nothing. My supernatural powers are to monitor the heavens and the earth, and if I use my supernatural powers, many things in this world will not escape my surveillance." The ability of the six-eared macaque makes Hu Tu and Xianming think, although this magical power has nothing to do with combat effectiveness, it can know a lot of ancient secrets. The peculiarity of this land return has also been explained. Xianming saw that he took the initiative to relieve himself, and he felt quite good. Euro. The hostility towards Lu Gui is also a little less. "Sir, it's here." Dejong took Lu Gui and passed through a sea of blood. This sea of blood was different from the netherworld blood sea of the Styx ancestor, it was full of chaotic blood. The tide of the sea of blood, lapping on the shore. Bring out the endless chaos of evil. The so-called evil qi is the evolution formed by the condensation of the turbid qi of the earth, and it is a necessary thing for the Wu clan to cultivate the physical body. And the evil qi in the sea of blood is not an ordinary evil qi, but a chaotic evil qi that is fused with chaotic qi. If I can refine my body in the sea of blood, I will definitely be able to quickly refine the chaos root bone. Lu Gui thought in his heart, but he didn't speak. Pangu Hall is the holy place of the Wu clan, and he mentioned this kind of thing, a little too much. However, his expression fell in Hu Tu's eyes. Hu Tu smiled slightly and did not speak. Lu Gui and his party bypassed the sea of blood and saw a quaint gate, and there was no prohibition on the gate at all. He asked curiously, "You don't need to lock the door of your treasure house?" The three ancestral witches looked at each other and smiled. Dijiang's proud explanation. "Divine monkey, it's not that I'm bragging, no one can open this door except for my 12 brothers and sisters. This is the forbidden of Pangu father." He explained to Lu Gui, and Lu Gui immediately understood. This sect has two characteristics, one is that it can isolate any spell, and the second is heavy, heavier than the 3 mountains and 5 mountains. In this world, except for the 12 ancestral witches, who can push open the door with only their physical bodies. In this desolate world, I am afraid that the only person who can say this is Dao ancestor Honghuang. Of course, there is one exception. Lu Gui curiously stretched out his hand and put it on the door. Boom! The bronze door, which had not been opened for a long time, opened directly with a rumbling sound. Dijiang's smile froze on his face. Hu Tu and Suanming's small mouths opened slightly, but they couldn't close for a long time. You. Can you open the door?" Although he knew that Lu Gui cultivated the method of sanctification of the Suanmin body, he had a deep heel. But Lu Gui's easy opening of the door to the treasure house was still beyond the expectations of the three ancestors. After all, Lu Gui was not a pure physical cultivator, they had always thought that at least half of his strength was in the Yuan Shen Dao method. Lu Gui's action of pushing the door was much easier than many of the 12 ancestral witches. "Mr. Monkey, good." After Dejong was stunned, he smiled heartily. Lu Gui replied, "Brother Dijiang, don't be so polite, you can just call me Lu Gui or Luer." The main hall of the Wu clan really lived up to Lu Gui's expectations, and after he opened it, endless treasures poured out from the depths of the treasure house. Lu Gui just blinked his eyes, and he vaguely saw that there was an innate spirit treasure. If you are rich, it is worthy of being the treasure house of the Wu clan. He walked in, took out a treasure in his hand, and found some information vaguely in his mind. The system also has an authentication function, so good. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, detective with 6 ears. Chapter 22. Lu Gui found that as long as he grabbed the treasure in his hand, the system could give him a simple hint. Cold light wall, acquired defense spirit treasure. Lark flag, innate spirit treasure. Lu Gui found that he was able to identify the spirit treasures, and picked up the treasures one by one in the treasure house of the Wu clan. I have to say that the treasure house of the Witch clan really surprised him. Honghuang baby, there are 6 or 7%, received by Hung Junfen Beiyan, and one of them is the companion magic weapon of various congenital and deep feet. Most of the treasures that will shake the past and the present in the future are in these 6 or 7%. But there are still many treasures in the flood famine, but in fact, they have not been born, and they have been drowned in the long river of time. For example, the 12-grade pure world white lotus, such as the acquired merit to the treasure Hongmeng measuring the heavenly ruler, etc., are only passed on by word of mouth, and have never appeared in the flood wilderness. Not to mention many of the best innate spirit treasures. They are often used to behead corpses before they have time to shine on the world. The treasure house of the Wu clan in front of Lu Gui obviously contains a lot of buried spiritual treasures, and the Wu clan is the first batch of innate sacredness to awaken after the catastrophe of the Long Han dynasty. In the process of the evolution of the flood wilderness, they collected I don't know how many good things. It's just that the Wu clan has no primordial gods, and the things in their treasure trove are stored according to their aesthetic standards. Under Lu Gui's identification, there are many things that are actually useless, but they are placed in an important position by the Wu clan. On the contrary, several pieces of the best innate spirit treasures were randomly thrown in the corner. The aesthetics of the Witch clan. Lu Gui shook his head while appraising. At this time, Hutu smiled softly, "Mr. Luer, haven't found your favorite baby yet." Lu Gui smiled, "Don't worry." As soon as he finished speaking, he picked up an inconspicuous bead. Ancestral Dragon Ball, the best innate spirit treasure, the ancestral dragon associated treasure, function, thrown out, can pour out the power of the immeasurable sea, the power is endless, it contains endless 1 UN heavy water, can turn millions of dragons. Note, the ancestral Dragon Ball contains the bloodline and vitality of the Sanchinj ancestral dragon during his lifetime. It's actually the ancestral dragon's companion baby. Lu Gui found the first treasure he wanted, the ancestral Dragon Ball, which was the companion spirit treasure of the Lord of the Dragon clan. Although it is not an innate treasure, it is also the strongest and best innate spirit treasure. The 1 UN heavy water contained in the ancestral Dragon Ball is one of the 7 chaotic true waters, and it is as famous as the Nanming Luo of the Phoenix clan, which belongs to the top 10 chaotic source fires. 1 UN of heavy water, 1 drop is 10,000 caddies, and the 1 UN of heavy water hidden in this ancestral Dragon Ball is simply uncountable. This is definitely a powerful baby. What's more, it also contains the vitality of the ancestral dragon before his death. As the ancestral dragon of Yasheng, the vitality of Sanchinj is definitely not inferior to a superb innate spirit treasure. Wu clan, good people. Lu Gui grinned with joy, and he continued to identify and search in the treasure house. During this period, he found many innate spirit treasures and genius earth treasures, but he was not very satisfied. There are many treasures here that are no less than the ancestral Dragon Ball, but none of them are what Lu Gui wants. As he walked, he soon found a second baby that surprised him. Ruyi Bone, Chaos Demon God, the backbone of the Ruyi ancestor of the transformation demon god, the law of change can be extracted, and it can be refined in the Chaos Root Bone. The discovery of the Ruyi Bone has a deeper meaning for Lu Gui than a simple superb innate spirit treasure. If this wishful bone is replaced by someone else, it will be a piece of chicken ribs, and at most it will be used to practice and become an acquired spiritual treasure, but in the eyes of Lu Gui, it is a rare treasure. The reason is what the system prompts, and it can be refined in the Chaos Root Bone. The chaos root bone rewarded by the system does not mean that it specifically evolves which demon god among the chaos demon gods, just like Lugui himself is close to the chaos demon ape, and the chaos root bone is inclined to the chaos demon ape. However, the chaos root bone can also refine other chaos demon gods. This backbone of the Ruyi demon god can help Lugui activate the bloodline of the Ruyi demon god, and that is enough. Lugui put away the Ruyi bones, and Hutu, Dijiang and others expressed their incomprehension of his choice. However, they couldn't help but speak, and let Lugui choose. After Lugui took a turn, he finally found the third treasure he wanted. This is an ordinary-looking stone, and it is indistinguishable from ordinary stones except for its hardness. Tianzu Stone Heart, a stone condensed from the spirit stone in the depths of Buzhu Mountain, containing a drop of Pangu chalcedony, which can activate the Pangu bloodline. Damn! Lugui couldn't help but burst into foul language. This is another big treasure. Pangu is the undisputed number one among the chaos demon gods, and if he can activate the Pangu bloodline in the chaos root bone, it will be awesome. Although the chaos demon ape is one of the top 10 demon gods. But the last 9 demon gods may not be as good as Pangu when they add up. This baby, he definitely wants to take it. Lugui put away the big stone in front of him, and he chose all the 3 treasures. At this time, Dijiang laughed. The taste of the monkey is somewhat similar to my sister's, and my Hutu sister also likes to hit people with stones. Brother. Ho-Tu saw that Dijiang actually dismantled the stage in front of Lugui, and a trace of blush appeared on his face. She blushed, fellow Taoist, don't get me wrong, I am the ancestor of the earth, and that stone can just exert my greatest strength for me. The more Ho-Tu explained, the more weird he felt, and in the end he couldn't talk anymore. Dijiang looked at Ho-Tu, thoughtfully, as if he had found something. He laughed, you two are a good match. This sentence made Ho-Tu almost find a crack in the ground to get into. And a pillar stone heart. Lugui was thoughtful, the opportunity of this Ho-Tu was really behind him. The Pangu chalcedony in the heart of the Tianzu stone is of great significance to the 12 ancestral witches. Although Pangu chalcedony is not as good as Pangu essence blood, if it can be obtained, it will be of great significance to the strength of the 12 ancestral witches. Ho-Tu was the last of the 12 ancestral witches to be born, and his strength was relatively weak. However, if she can get Pangu chalcedony, she can become the strongest ancestral witch. She chose the heart of the pillar stone, and there was a certain number in the dark. According to legend, Ho-Tu is really one of the strongest ancestral witches, and I am afraid that in the future, she will also get Pangu chalcedony. If that's the case, then I have another chance to break the news. Hey. Luer, you are a monk, why don't you choose a better magic weapon and choose a stone instead? Xianming was curious, and opened his mouth at the right time, and Lugui almost hugged her and nibbled her. This big girl she just wanted to break the news, and she gave her a chance. He coughed and smiled mysteriously. Do you really think it's just an ordinary stone? As soon as he opened his mouth, the 3 of Dijiang, Xianming, and Ho-Tu were instantly interested. Could it be that there was a secret in this stone? It's not Zhou Shan, it's the spine of Pangu. Haven't you thought that there is something else in the heart of this Tianzu stone? That is, Pangu chalcedony. Lugui smiled and said nothing, and after he finished speaking, he instantly turned into the form of a chaos demon ape. Splitting the heavens divine palm. Lugui shouted angrily, and directly burst out his current strongest supernatural power, which fell on the heart of the Tianzu stone. The stone was shattered. A drop of Pangu chalcedony appeared in front of several people. Pangu chalcedony. The 3 ancestral witches, the moment they saw Pangu chalcedony, were stunned. Monkey. This. It's 2. Dijiang was so frightened that he was incoherent. This monkey can really know the heavens and is mysterious. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, detective with 6 ears. Chapter 23. Pangu Chalcedony appeared in front of the 3 ancestral witches like this. They breathe Mr. Chen. This kind of thing, for the 12 ancestors, is no less than an innate treasure. However, compared to the shock of the appearance of Pangu Chalcedony, the 3 ancestral witches were even more shocked by the mystery of Lu Gui. This stone has been in the treasure house of the Wu clan for I don't know how many years, only when the divine monkey came in, did his true value appear. The magic of this monkey made the 3 ancestors vaguely have a state of awe. As for the Pangu Chalcedony that could make the ancestral witches crazy, they didn't have a greedy heart. The people of the Wu clan, although they are brave and aggressive, are also relatively simple. Since the Tianzi stone heart was promised to Lu Gui by the Wu clan, this thing is naturally owned by Lu Gui. Ho Tu and Xianming's beautiful eyes rippled, staring at Lu Gui, full of curiosity. Lu Gui put away the Pangu Chalcedony and broke the news, and the reward was received. The host broke the news about the mystery of the Tianzi stone heart. The revelation level is C, and the reaction level, half believed. Overall rating, D. Reward mana for 10,000 years. Reward 1 or 2 enlightenment T. The rewards of the system are only D rank, and Lu Gui doesn't look down on these rewards. 10,000 years of mana, talk is better than nothing. Enlightenment T is a good treasure, but compared to him can directly devour the origin comprehension law. This thing is also a chicken rib for him. He glanced at the 3 ancestors of the Wu clan, and seeing that they had no intention of snatching Pangu Chalcedony, Lu Gui nodded secretly. This revelation is also an opportunity for him to test the Wu clan. It is best if the other person's character is trustworthy, and he adds a sense of mystery to their minds. Mr. is much more interesting than that Lao Tzu's Dao ancestor. Dezhong laughed and gave Lu Gui a thumbs up. Xianming and Hutu looked at him, and they also had other thoughts. Hutu remembered something. 6-eared Taoist, your Tianzi stone heart can find Pangu Chalcedony, don't I? You give me your stone, Lu Gui said with a smile. She hurriedly took out the weapon she had used for many years, a huge stone. Lu Gui touched his hand on the stone, and after getting the system prompt, there is. When Hutu heard this, he didn't need to do anything. He directly operated the law of the earth system and shattered the stone core. Pangu Chalcedony, 2 drops. Really? 6-eared senior, there really is, Dezhong shouted. The 3 of Hutu, Xianming and Dejiang were ecstatic the moment they saw Pangu Chalcedony. The 3 of them looked at Lu Gui with adoring eyes. These 6-eared seniors were indeed gods. Dezhong himself didn't notice that his name for Lu Gui had already changed from the 6-eared Daiyu. Mr. Monkey has become a 6-eared senior. Lu Gui was very satisfied with the attitude of the 3 of them. If you want to break the news yourself, the more the Wu people trust themselves, the better. This ancient Chalcedony, give it to my brothers. Hutu looked at the 2 drops of Chalcedony and said to Dezhong. Dejiang's face turned pale. Sister, who are you as an elder brother? Brother, if you absorb Pangu Chalcedony, you will be promoted to the quasi-saint great perfection and become a of the sub-saint. Girl, this is not good, you take the. Both brothers and sisters are shirking and watching Lu Gui happy. The 12 ancestors have to say that they are still brothers and sisters with the same heart internally, unlike the 3 Qings, who will intrigue in the future, and in the end, even their own brothers will be pitted. Hutu, you better accept it. The reason why this Chalcedony fell into your hands is because of the vague arrangement of heaven's will. Lu Gui's words made the shirk between the Hutu and Dejiang brothers and sisters stop. Xianming flashed bright and wild beautiful eyes, staring at Lu Gui. Monkey, why do you say that? Lu Gui smiled mysteriously. The secret of heaven must not be revealed. Now is not the time to say it. The three ancestors were very convinced of his ability. Hutu blushed and put away the 2 drops of Pangu chalcedony. The great grace of the 6-eared Dao friends, the Wu clan will not forget. The 3 of them bowed down and made a big salute towards Lu Gui. These 2 drops of Pangu chalcedony can increase the strength of the Wu clan a lot. The 3 of them were convinced by Lu Gui, and they were also sincere. Lu Gui said, "Fellow Taoists, you are polite, since there is nothing to do here, I am in a hurry to go out for retreat. Farewell." Fellow Taoist and slow. Hutu stopped Lu Gui, who was about to leave, and said to Dejong with a red face, "Brother, don't we owe a favor to the 6-year friends? He is also a great power in cultivating the dharma of flesh sanctification, why don't we let him practice and break through in the chaotic blood sea?" What? Dejong was stunned by Hutu's proposal, or the chaotic blood sea in the Pangu Hall was the exclusive retreat place of the 12 ancestral witches, and even the Great Witch Gate was not qualified to enter. The chaotic blood sea is a fusion of the residual dirty blood in Pangu's heart and the turbid chi of the earth, and even the great witches can't stand the evil chi inside. And this is the land of God the Father, how could the Hutu girl make such a request? However, when he looked at Hutu's expression, he seemed to understand something. Dejong smiled, the 6-eared Taoist friend is his own person, so he can talk about a person of his own, the mind of breaking the earth. Lu Gui didn't understand, he only knew that Hutu actually won the opportunity for himself to refine the chaos root bone in the chaos blood sea, and he smiled. Then I would like to thank the Hutu ancestor witch, the Xianming witch clan, and the Dejiang ancestor witch. Being able to refine his body in the sea of chaotic blood is beyond his reach. 6-eared seniors are polite. Dejong hurriedly arranged for Lu Gui to take him to the edge of the chaos blood sea. The sea of chaotic blood, with a billowing evil aura, slapped against the shore. Dejong made a gesture of invitation to Lu Gui. "Sir, in the middle of the sea of blood, there is a witch god platform. It's the place where the sea of blood is the strongest, if you can't stand it, you have to step down quickly." "Thank you." After Lu Gui thanked Dejong, he flew directly into the sea of blood. The sea of blood seemed to sense this outsider, and it reacted in an instant, and the rolling murderous aura slashed towards Lu Gui like a knife. Lu Gui's body was left with traces by the evil chi. "Cool, that's it?" Attacked by evil chi, Lu Gui was not surprised and rejoiced, this is the holy place of cultivation for a body-refining monk. He quickened his speed and rushed towards the middle of the red half-blood sea, and sure enough, he saw an altar half exposed in the water. Witch god Terrace. Lu Gui sat on the altar, and in an instant, the power of the chaotic blood sea rushed towards him. 73%. 74%. Before he could exercise much, the chaos root bone began to accelerate refining. This chaotic sea of blood is powerful. Lu Gui felt the oppression of the chaotic sea of blood and laughed. "Where do you start?" Lu Gui thought for a moment, found the chaos demon blood rewarded by the system, and swallowed it. The chaos demon blood is the essence blood of the chaos demon god. A drop of blood fell into his stomach, and Lu Gui suddenly arrived, and the power like a flame explosion surged all over his body. 79%. 81%. 92%. 99%. 100%. A drop of chaos demon blood is many times more powerful than the divine water of merit. The moment Lu Gui was in the blood of the chaos demon god, his chaos root bone was completely refined. The true body of a chaos demon ape standing up to the sky appeared above the sea of blood, looking up to the sky and roaring. The sea of blood shook. The 3 major witch clans who were watching were pale. After this Lu Gui turned into a chaos demon ape, he really surpassed them by at least 10 times. The terrifying coercion of heaven and earth, the 12 ancestral witches suddenly felt like ants. The other witch clans outside the hall were also alarmed and entered the Pangu hall one after another. Hearing Dejiang's brief introduction, everyone was also dumbfounded. The chaotic sea of blood, the movement is still constant. But when the 12 ancestral witches were shocked, Lu Gui had already chosen to devour the second heavenly treasure. Ruyi bones. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, detective with 6 ears. Chapter 24. After refining the chaos root bone and completely becoming a chaos demon ape. Lu Gui's cultivation, although he did not deliberately cultivate, also entered the late stage of the great Luo golden immortal naturally. The law of war in his body is surging. Lu Gui took the opportunity to swallow his law of war, and the law of war was completed. Chaos root bone can also devour other demon gods. Since I finally came here once, of course I have to refine everything. He took out the Ruyi demon god's Ruyi bone and crushed it. A wisp of the law of change appeared in the void. And in the bone marrow, there is still a drop of essence blood. Lu Gui put away the law and swallowed the essence blood. The chaos root bone detected the chaos demon god bloodline, activated the Ruyi demon god root bone. Do you want to integrate the bloodline of the Ruyi demon god into the chaos demon ape? After the fusion, the host will evolve the Ruyi demon ape bloodline in the chaos demon ape's body. Yes. Lu Gui did not give in, and chose to fuse the bloodline of the Ruyi demon god, who is the ancestor of the great Dao of change, and his Ruyi book is a good match. The system gets the prompt of Lu Gui and begins to merge. 1%. 10%. 45%. 90%. 100%. Smelting the root bone again, Lu Gui's speed was more than 10 times faster than that of the chaos root bone. Compared to the chaos demon ape, the Ruyi demon god is obviously much lower on his heels. The chaos root bone did not take much effort, and it fused with the bloodline of the Ruyi heavenly demon. Outside the chaos blood sea, the 12 ancestral witches felt in shock that from the depths of the chaos blood sea, there was another breath of the chaos demon god. It's another bloodline of 3,000 demon gods, isn't the divine monkey the chaos demon abyss? The 12 ancestral witches have a feeling that they are going crazy. Just now, the chaos demon ape suppressed their bloodline. Now there's another kind of blood. How many secrets are there in these 6-eared macaques? Haha. Dejiang seemed to remember something funny and laughed. Brother, what are you laughing at? I laugh at that Dao ancestor who still says that the Dharma does not preach the 6 ears, and the 6 ears of the predecessors need him to preach. Dejiang's words made Hutu and Xianming laugh. The Wu people have no primordial spirit, they can't stand Hongjun's avenue, and they don't have to respect her. They laughed, and the rest of the 12 ancestors laughed too. But after laughing, the 12 ancestral witches glanced in awe at the depths of the chaos blood sea. I don't know what else the 6-eared seniors can do. In the depths of the chaos blood sea, Lu Gui fused the bloodline of the Ruyi demon ape, swallowed the origin of change, and finally deduced the way of change to the realm of Xiao Cheng. The host obtains the memory of the Ruyi demon god, awakens the Ruyi demon ape's supernatural powers. Does it upgrade the Ruyi book? Yes. Just like the chaos demon ape at a glance, after Lu Gui turned the Ruyi demon god into the Ruyi demon ape, he also recalled the chaos demon god's accompanying supernatural powers. Integrate this magic power into the book of Ruyi. The Ruyi book was originally a dafa that expounded the way of change, and after it was fused, it directly became a saint-level supernatural law. Perfection and change. That's the real way to change. Lu Gui rushed to the wishful Dayun and circulated on himself, overjoyed. That wisp of wishful thinking can also increase the power of the golden hoop stick. That's good. He recalled the wishful thinking and was very satisfied. This is a later story, swallow the Pangukhalcedony first. Lu Gui took out Pangukhalcedony and swallowed it directly. The moment he swallowed, he only heard a boom, a thunderclap exploded in his ears, and then an even more violent power surged through his body. Chaos root bone, the demon god bloodline of force detected, is it activated? After activation, the demon god of power will evolve into the bloodline of the Pangu divine ape. Activate. Lu Gui was the one who did not give in and activated the bloodline of the Pangu sage. 1%. 10%. 30%. The law of force, becoming. Pangu chalcedony activates the Pangu bloodline, but a drop of Pangu chalcedony is not enough to make the chaos root bone evolve. When the furious evolution power stops at 30%. A Pangu divine ape that was not fully formed appeared in the sky above the chaos blood sea. Although it was not complete, Lu Gui also recalled that the blood was full of Pangu sage's supernatural powers. The law of his power was instantly small. At the same time, the 9 turns Xiangong that he had obtained also became the 9 turns of chaos, and the great Dao was supernatural. God the Father. The 12 ancestral witches outside the sea of blood sensed the breath of the Pangu divine ape and almost knelt down. This Pangu divine ape is clearly the breath of the Pangu great sage. In the monkey, there is still the blood of the father. Dejong shouted in horror, as the descendants of Pangu, they could recognize the Pangu bloodline, which was not false at all. The Pangu aura that came from the depths of the sea of blood was even stronger than their 12 ancestral witches combined. Monkey, is it our brother? The 12 ancestral witches couldn't help but rise up with this strange thought, and then they lingered. Although the monkey is a demon clan, if it has the Pangu bloodline, it is theoretically true. No, he's a descendant, we can't compare. Dejong broke a basin of cold water for all the ancestral witches, and the 12 ancestral witches came back to their senses, and immediately understood what the eldest brother meant. The 12 ancestral witches were just creatures transformed by the essence and blood of Pangu. They have no beginning, they are crippled. Although they claim to be descendants of Pangu, the 12 ancestors understand that the relationship between the Wu clan and Pangu is not deep. At most, they are evolved from Pangu's body and worship Pangu's creatures. But in the sea of blood, the Lu Gui of the Dharma heaven and earth is the real descendant of Pangu. The eyes of the 12 ancestral witches immediately became hot. My 2 sisters, it seems that there is no Taoist couple yet. Dejiang muttered to himself, thoughtfully. Brother. Hutu even turned his ears red, and glared at Dejiang with disgust. I think it's okay, Zurong, Candle Juyan, and others began to echo, and Hutu was helpless for a while. In the eyes of the Wu clan, Lu Gui quickly changed from a gentleman to his own person. Lu Gui didn't know about these. After he awakened the bloodline of the Pangu divine ape, he was stuck at 30% and didn't move, but it didn't matter. 9 turns of chaos, great Dao exercises. Nice. Lu Gui closed his eyes, ran the chaos 9 times, fought and won the duel. Wishful book. The 3 divine powers began to devour the evil chi around the chaotic blood sea and condense the physical body. His Pangu divine ape is also 1% 2% weakly refined. In the end, it stopped at 36%, and Lu Gui's cultivation broke through again. De Luo Jin Xian Peak. It's still cool to cultivate in Pangu Palace. I still have an ancestral dragon ball, and I will swallow up that 30% of the vitality. I don't know if I can directly enter the quasi-saint realm. Lu Gui thought of this, and did what he did. He took out the ancestral dragon ball. In one sip, he devoured the 30% of the vitality on the ancestral dragon ball's body. In the chaotic sea of blood, the storm is raging. Driven by Lu Gui's aura and the evil aura of the sea of blood, his chaotic root slowly grew. And cultivation is advancing by leaps and bounds. Finally, Lu Gui felt that a certain threshold in his body had been broken. He finally entered the quasi-saint realm. Lao Tzu is a quasi-saint. Hongjun, I don't need you, my path is as smooth. The moment Lu Gui was promoted to a quasi-saint, a sullen breath in his chest finally relaxed. Accompanied by the sound of his long roar in the sky. The entire Pangu hall resonated. He is indeed a true descendant of Pangu. The 12 ancestral witches, seeing this scene, almost had the urge to kneel. Kneel and beg for flowers, evaluate votes. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, detective with 6 ears. Chapter 25. Pangu Divine Ape, refining 40%, without heaven and earth treasures, I'm afraid I won't be able to make any progress for the time being. Even the power of the Chaos Blood Sea has been drained a lot by me. In this way, I still owe some favors to the Wu clan. After Lu Gifa had no way to continue refining the Pangu Divine Ape, he took the initiative to stop his cultivation. He looked around. The chaotic evil chi of the chaotic blood sea was actually thinner by 3% because of him, which showed how terrifying the resources consumed by refining the root bones of the 3 major demon gods at the same time. Rao is Lugui is shameless, and he is also a little embarrassed. Hutu girl kindly let him use Pangu Hall to refine the root bones, but he took a layer of other people's wool down. At this time, because of the relationship between Lugui refining Pangu Divine Ape, the Pangu Hall began to hum and vibrate, and in this vibration, there was a faint law of the great Dao for everyone to comprehend. Beyond the sea of chaotic blood, the 12 ancestral witches were completely confused. Pangu Hall induction. From Honghu to the present, there has never been an induction in Pangu Palace. Friends of the 6-year Dao, there is no doubt about the descendants of Pangu. The moment Dejong and the others spoke, the vibration of the Pangu Hall evolved into avenues. They felt the evolution of the great Dao and hurriedly closed their eyes to practice. And Lugui in the chaotic blood sea also sensed the abnormality of the Pangu Palace. Facing the Pangu Palace's evolution Dao, he also fell into comprehension. The moment Lu returned to the world, he returned to the illusion when Pangu opened the sky. The 3,000 demon gods besieged Pangu in anger, and Pangu seemed to stand still, like a high mountain. Other demon gods are like grasshoppers shaking trees, and they are stupid. However, this time, Lugui's perspective is not the perspective of the Chaos Demon Ape, but both Pangu and Ruyi Demon God. He saw that a Chaos Demon God was different from other demon gods. The wrath of those demon gods was not seen in him, and it was full of determination and determination. The demon god of war, the Chaos Demon Ape. From Pangu's point of view, Lugui saw the majestic figure of the demon god of war, and Pangu paid tribute to him. The Chaos Demon Ape was by no means the most powerful by nature, but with his monstrous battle intent, he killed the top 10 demon gods. Lugui finally felt the supernatural powers of the Chaos Demon God from the perspective of others. This is a magical ability recorded in the battle duel, and he has not yet learned. Cut the sky. The picture came to an abrupt end at the moment when Lugui comprehended this magical power. Host comprehension battle to defeat the ultimate supernatural power, cutting the sky. With the cold sound of the system, the picture darkened. However, Lugui's joy was uncontrollable. The power of cutting the sky was still above the palm of the heaven-splitting god, and it was definitely a divine power comparable to that of a saint, and even comparable to the heavenly Dao level. Got a great supernatural power. Lugui's trip to the Wu clan this time can be regarded as a complete merit. Successfully promoted to quasi-saint, refined the root bones of the 3 major chaos demon gods, and comprehended a great supernatural power. Lugui believes that his strength is definitely the top in the flood wilderness. Even if it is Tai, who has the chaos clock, he may not be his opponent. I'm following the path of the mixed Yuan de Luo Jin immortal, and I don't need to behead the corpse to become a quasi-saint. However, Hong Jun's 3 corpses Dao method, if it is just a corpse, it is not bad to increase your combat power. Lugui said to himself, Hong Jun's beheading of 3 corpses preached, in addition to being promoted to the Saint Taikeng, before the saint, it was a good choice. He is now in the early stage of quasi-sainthood, and he can behead a corpse. Cutting corpses requires a magic weapon, and Lugui has a lot of magic weapons in his hands, but he hasn't figured out what to use to cut corpses. Putting this aside for now. Speaking of beheading corpses, Lu Gui remembered another magical power he had just gotten, 1 gas and 3 clearing. This is the core supernatural power of the future Saint Lao Tzu. There is a difference between Lao Tzu's core supernatural power and the 3 corpses, and the clone that is cut out of the corpse is a relatively independent individual, which can have a certain connection with the ontology, and is relatively independent. The combat power is also much lower than the main body. 1 gas and 3 clears are different. This magic power can turn into 2 clones with exactly the same combat power as themselves in one go. As soon as this magic power comes out, Lao Tzu is equal to a 3-fold increase in combat effectiveness. However, the clone that is cut out by 1 gasification and 3 clearings cannot last. There are a lot of doppelganger methods in the flood wilderness, the most famous such as the Blood River Dafa of the Styx River ancestor, which can divide 840 million blood god sons. But 1 gas and 3 clears are still the strongest doppelganger law in the flood wilderness. Because there is only one method that can differentiate the same combat power as the ontology. Learn. Lu Gui meditated in his heart to learn the 3 clears of 1 qi, and with the bright light in front of him, he instantly comprehended all the tricks about this supernatural power. The law of change, the law of copying, the law of balance, the law of yin and yang. All the laws about this supernatural power were thoroughly eaten by Lu Gui. He opened his eyes and turned into 3 clears. His body, a wishful demon ape, a Pangu divine ape, appeared beside Lu Gui. Haha, this should be called, 1 thought to set 3 apes. After digesting this magical power, Lu Gui simply learned everything in his sleeve. Support, the reward he got from breaking the news, was digested by him. He pinched his fingers. More than 2,000 years have passed now, and Hung Jun preached for the 2nd time. It's about to start. Emperor Jun wants to start building the heavenly court in the future. And the waste of the Eastern Prince, it's time to go overseas to find Xiandao. These opportunities can't be taken away from them. When Lu Gui thought of this, he had no intention of retreating, and he still had 2 desolate road guides on his body that were useless, so they were just used up. He was a little embarrassed and flew out of the sea of chaotic blood, but saw the 12 ancestral witches, each of whom manifested the true body of the ancestral witch, and was comprehending the law. Time, space, gold, water, wood, fire, earth, ice, thunder, poison, electricity, and wind. The 12 laws filled the entire Pangu palace, and Lu Gui watched with interest. The true body of these 12 ancestral witches, except for Hutu Girl and Xianming, each one is uglier than the other. He appeared, alarming the 12 ancestors. Dejong looked at Lu Gui, brother six-eared, are you done with your retreat? Lu Gui's identity, in Dejiang's eyes, has changed from a predecessor to a brother. This is the most intimate name of the Wu clan for a friend. The other 11 ancestral witches woke up and found that it was Lu Gui, who was also full of kindness. After all, they had already decided that Lu Gui was a descendant of Pangu, a descendant who was more descendant than them, and was his own person. Lu Gui said, I'm sorry everyone, I used the Chaos Blood Sea Sanchin evil Qi. That's a trivial matter, what is polite to your own people? Dejong patted Lu Gui's shoulder, a little flattering. Lu Gui was inexplicable, and when he came out of retreat, the 12 ancestors seemed to be a lot closer to him, and he didn't know if it was an illusion. They even have some awe for themselves. Lu Gui did not doubt him, and said, I think the 3,000-year period is coming soon, do you two still go to Xixiao Palace to listen to the sermon? Dejong snorted coldly, that Dao ancestor preached that I was bored to death, I slept for 3,000 years last time, and I don't want to go. Hutu covered his mouth and smiled, it's not a bad thing for my Wu clan and Dao ancestor to have a good relationship, I'll go. Dejong, we Wu clan don't understand, those immortals love to ignore us, what do you care about him? Ho-Tu smiled, brother, I'm also curious, is the Dao ancestor talking about the Dao method the same as what the six-eared Daoist said? As soon as she said this, Dijiang was also interested. The six-eared Daoist friend has exhausted the avenue, and as soon as you say that my curiosity is also coming, I will also go and listen to what the old guy has to say. If there was no one to talk to, Lu Gui was helpless. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, Detective with 6 Ears. Chapter 26. Lu Gui expounded on the 4 methods of preaching saints to sticks, which has made everyone reverent. But these methods, after all, are difficult to convince, for no other reason, but Lu Gui is not a saint. One is not a saint, expounding the method of sainthood, and the Hutu girl wants to go to Yanzheng Hongjun to say this, which is reasonable. Not only did Lu Gui not feel that Hutu doubted her, he was annoyed and angry. On the contrary, this practice is encouraged. In this way, he can at least harvest a few iron powders. After Dijiang finished talking to Hutu, he asked Lu Gui to go to the front hall to sit. The rest of the 12 ancestors all looked at Lu Gui with blank eyes, and looked at Lu Gui inexplicably. Zhu Rongzhuo muttered, "This is the descendant of Pangu. Why isn't it a witch?" Fool, all things in the wilderness are the incarnation of God the Father, and you are still stuck in race. Lu Guiliu's ears listened to everything, and he immediately heard the conversation between the two. He smiled, already understanding what the Wu clan's attitude towards him came from. Pangu divine ape, to some extent, is indeed Pangu. He is now 40% of Pangu. If you talk about blood kinship, Lu Gui can be said to be the first in the flood famine. The 12 ancestors entertained him, and Lu Gui asked about the general trend of the flood in recent years. Now in the flood desolate continent, the most popular ones are probably the Eastern princes and the Western Queen Mother. The Prince of the East thought that he was the head of the male and female immortals personally designated by the Dao ancestors, and had already begun to prepare for the establishment of the immortal court. I want to rule all the immortals in the world. The immortal court was initially built in West Kunlun, and all the immortals responded, and even Sanking sold each other a face. After all, now Hongjun has not accepted apprentices, and the 6 people on the futon don't know what their identities are. The Prince of the East is canonized by the ancestor of the Dao, and he seems to be the spokesperson of Hongjun. It makes sense to give face. It's just a clown who has been calculated by Hongjun. He also deserves to be an immortal emperor. Others don't know, how could Lu Gui not know the ending of the Eastern Prince? The Prince of the East established the immortal court, was rampant, and in the end he did not die in the hands of the Eastern Emperor Tai. The Eastern Emperor Tai and Emperor Jun are the protagonists of the flood and famine. It was also because of this jumping clown that Emperor Jun would rise up with the idea of forming a heavenly court. Of course, Dijun has not yet discovered the location of the demon clan's heavenly court, which is a cave heaven that evolved from the birth of heaven and earth, and is waiting for someone destined to take over. If there is no accident, the Prince of the East and the Emperor Jun should have already taken over. Lu Gui's sneer made Hutu and others puzzled. Xianming asked, Lu'er, is there any secret in this? Lu Gui didn't say anything, but just said, the Prince of the East is just an abandoned son of Hongjun, and the future emperor of the flood is 2 golden crows on the sun. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid you'll have to face your old enemies in the future. He said a word, and the 12 ancestors were shocked. The host leaked the heavenly machine, the position of the Emperor of Heaven, the level of revelation B, the reaction level, convinced. Overall rating, B. The host gets a reward, the innate spirit treasure Wind Thunder Shear. The host obtains 1 source of strength, 1 source of war. The host gains mana for 50,000 years. Reveal some of the secrets of the Lich tribulation, and Lu Gui will get the corresponding rewards. He was more relieved that this matter instinctively reacted, and the 12 ancestral witches actually believed it. This means that Lu Gui has gained a high degree of trust in their hearts. However, in the face of questioning, he did not continue to break the news. If you dig deeper, you will have to reveal the secret of the flood and famine, this kind of secret of heaven and earth. Lu Gui doesn't believe that the 12 ancestors can still believe it unconditionally. He might as well keep this fierce material and wait for the opportunity. The Wu clan, the demon clan, these two big clans, just like the three clans of the dragon, phoenix, and Kylan in the flood desolation, will definitely have a big war because of survival. This is not the time to say it, you will see it later. I still have something to do, let's go first. Lu Gui refused the retention of the 12 ancestral witches and insisted on leaving the Wu clan. Hutu girl can't keep it, so she can only look at it. If you come often in the future, you will treat the Wu clan as if you were your own family. Con. Lu Gui listens to this. How strange is it to hear? He's a demon after all, right? Although the contradictions between the liches have not intensified to the point of not dying. In fact, the two lich clans have always been fighting. However, the Wu clan does not take the demon clan in their eyes at all, so naturally there is no so-called intensification. Only Dijun became the lord of the heavenly court and gathered the forces of the demon clan. The demon clan and the witch clan have the strength to fight. Emperor Jun, heavenly court. When Lu Gui thought of heavenly court, it was naturally impossible for him to stay here. He said goodbye to Hutu and the 12 ancestral witches, and flew towards Buzhu Mountain. Buzhu Mountain, still standing majestically in the center of the wilderness, like a pillar of heaven against the sky. The top of Buzhu Mountain, hidden in the clouds. Lu Gui flew to the main body of Buzhu Mountain and said to himself. Buzhu Mountain is transformed by the Pangu spine. Since the Wu clan can find the Tianzu stone heart, there should still be on Buzhu Mountain. If I can find Pangu Chalcedony, my Pangu divine ape can also evolve to 100%. Not Zhou Mountain, from a distance, it looks like a long pillar of heaven, but in fact, a radius of tens of thousands of miles is its range. Lu Gui stood on Buzhu Mountain, just a drop in the ocean, wanting to find the heart of the Tianzu stone. It's simply impossible. But he was not out of the question. The monkey smiled, pulled out a wisp of steam, and blew into his mouth. Not long after, countless ape clones appeared on Buzhu Mountain. You look for me, from the bottom of the mountain, all the way to the top of the mountain. I don't believe I can't find it. Lu Gui took thousands of monkey clones and began to sweep the mountain. The group of monkeys walked towards Buzhu Mountain. Really? He soon made a discovery, finding a fragment of the pillar stone. These Tianzu stone cores, after systematic identification, some have Pangu Chalcedony, and some do not. The stone core of the Tianzu is no different from other stones in appearance, and if it were not for the systematic identification of Lu Gui, it would be really difficult to find these stones. However, his movements have attracted the attention of many people. Euro. Buzhu Mountain, but there are many immortals who have established dojos here. Is that the monkey? That damn monkey. Many people still have memories of Lu Gui, watching his monkey clone search for Buzhu Mountain. Many people were blinded and tried to teach Lu Gui a lesson. But these people, Lu Gui, sent them away. Monkey, you deceive people too much. I will definitely sue the fairy court and find someone to deal with you. Those immortals who were repelled by Lu Gui were angry and went to Kunlun Mountain to complain. There are still some big demons on Buzhu Mountain, and they are also forced to retreat, but there is no way. Brother, that monkey is so rude, it's a shame that I spoke for him in the first place. Nuwa and Fuxi, brothers and sisters, are also one of the aborigines of Buzhu Mountain who were infested by the monkeys of Lu Gui. Nuwa stared at Lu Gui angrily, and Fu 11 pulled her. This person is a person that the Dao ancestor does not like, so let's get closer to him. Fu 11 pulled Nuwa and was about to leave, but Nuwa gritted her teeth, broke free from Fu 11's hand, and flew towards Lu Gui. What are you doing? Nuwa greeted Lu Gui, who was advancing all the way to the top of Buzhu Mountain. Lu Gui turned his head and grinned, it's Nuwa's eldest sister. I'm looking for the heavenly court. When Lu Gui said this, Dijun on the Sun Star felt a sense in his heart. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, Detective with 6 ears. Chapter 27. Buzhu Mountain, Nuwa and the six-eared macaque look at each other. When Nuwa heard Lu Gui's words, she was a little angry. This monkey is really open-mouthed, what kind of heavenly court, isn't he playing with her? She thought of her purpose for approaching Lu Gui, and forcibly held back her anger. Since Lu Gui took away all the gourds, Nuwa has been restless, and vaguely feels that Lu Gui has robbed her of her opportunity. Nuwa was thinking about how to exchange things with Lu Gui. Lu Gui's words can make her half angry. I grew up and lived in Buzhu Mountain, where is there any heaven here? Nuwa's puffed up appearance made Lu Gui laugh. At this time, Nuwa still had a hint of cuteness, without the majesty of a future saint. Lu Gui pointed to the top of Buzhu Mountain. Buzhu Mountain is a pillar of heaven, and there is a place on it that has never been seen before. That is the residence of the future heavenly emperor. The host broke the news of the address of the heavenly court, the level of the revelation, B, the reaction level, half believed. Overall rating, C. Reward the host with a divine power enhancement talisman. The host gets a bonus mana for 10,000 years. Broke out the big and small material, and got a supernatural power enhancement talisman, and Lu Gui also had an unexpected gain. 10,000 years of mana is better than nothing for the quasi-saint. But it's not bad. When Nuwa heard Lu Gui's words, she was skeptical, and she pouted. No, I haven't climbed the top of Zhou Mountain. There is only one heavenly river above, and the weak water is 3,000, and it is very cold. I almost froze to death. Halfway through Nuwa's speech, she was shocked that something was wrong. How could she take out such an old affair? Seeing Lu Gui smiling, she couldn't help but glare at the other party. Buzhu Mountain, it is a pillar of heaven, and it is also a road to heaven. If Zhou Mountain does not exist, it means that heaven and earth are one, yin and yang are balanced, and only one day it falls. It means that heaven and earth are separated, and heaven overwhelms the earth. From now on, the sky is unfathomable. The six-eared macaque said something mysterious, and Nuwa was puzzled. If you don't go to Zhoushan, how can you fall? Nuwa looked at Lu Gui suspiciously, only to find that the monkey ignored her and continued to look for the Tianzi stone heart. The Tianzi stone heart, and the other stones of Buzhu Mountain, look no different. It's just that the hardness is much higher than that of other stones. Except for the ancestor of the earth law of Hutu, no one else can refine it. These stones are scattered on Buzhu Mountain, and the army of apes returning from Lu has swept all the way, and they have really found a lot. Not every one of these stone cores has Pangu chalcedony in it. But even so, Lu Gui found nearly 20 drops of chalcedony. Lu Gui advanced like this, all the way to the top of Buzhu Mountain. Just as Nuwa said, he felt the icy breath from the weak water of the Tianhe. Weak water, which is also one of the chaotic true waters, is extremely cold. If it weren't for the approach of the immortals above the golden immortal, they would be able to freeze people to death with just one breath. Lu Gui's doppelgangers, near the top of Buzhu Mountain, were all frozen and exploded. He stood alone near the top of the mountain, and found that the highest section of Buzhu Mountain was inserted into the heavenly river. Heaven and earth, there is a vague layer of diameter, which is also the fetal membrane of heaven and earth. Lu Gui was at the top of Buzhu Mountain and saw a huge Tianzi stone heart. In the heart of this Tianzi stone, there must be a lot of Pangu Chalcedony. Lugui took a step forward, ready to enter the weak water. I told you, there's no heaven here. Nuwa followed behind Lugui like a fart. Lugui grinned, bet. Nuwa's eyes rolled, what are you betting on? Lugui looked up and down on Nuwa's body, and Nuwa looked at Lugui vigilantly. Monkey, don't you have any bad ideas? Lugui said, I lost, I'll give you what you want. You lose, give me your companion magic weapon. H. When Nuwa heard this, her face changed greatly. She had a companion magic weapon, except that Fu 11 had never said it to others. How did this monkey know? Lugui was very stinky, this god monkey knows the world. Phew, I don't believe it, but I took this bet. Nuwa Zozo has a nose and is very cute. Seeing that she promised herself, Lugui suddenly took her hand and led her into the heavenly river. Nuwa instantly felt that the endless coldness invaded her whole body. She was just a Dalogojin immortal at this time, although she would not be frozen to death by weak water, she also felt very uncomfortable. It's the monkey who can swim in weak water. Those cold weak waters, for Lugui, not only will not hurt him, but will also help him refine his body. Lugui ignored Nuwa, he stared at a piece of Tianzu stone heart on the top of Buzhu mountain, and put his hand on it. 108 drops of Pangu Chalcedony. A drop of Pangu essence blood. Lugui was overjoyed when he detected the amount of Pangu Chalcedony in the heart of the Tianzu stone. But what surprised him even more was a drop of Pangu essence blood. This ancient essence blood, a drop can give birth to an ancestral witch, this preciousness can be imagined. Come out for me. Lugui roared angrily, and directly pulled out this Tianzu stone heart. He flew out of the purple gold-red gourd and collected the Tianzu stone heart. This time I swept the mountain, and the harvest was not small. 130 drops of Pangu Chalcedony, 1 drop of Pangu essence blood. I can also condense Pangu's true body. When Lugui was excited, Nuwa whined and glared at him with her eyes. The implication is that Lugui lost, so hurry up and hand over the bet. Lugui smiled, held Nuwa's hand again, and he took out the Honghuang road guide and crushed it. Honghuang recording, can find a nearby opportunity. In Nuwa's stunned expression, the space around her was faintly broken. Lugui took Nuwa and appeared in a blessed land of immortal mountains. I saw that among the clouds that remembered the old winding, a palace was faintly visible. Surrounded by merit and thousands of colors, this palace group exudes a faint coercion of heaven and earth, which makes Nuwa feel a little surrendered. Heavenly Court. Nuwa blurted out and looked at the six-eared macaque in horror. This monkey is right again? Can he really know the world? Six Ears smiled, and Nuwa girl was now also convinced by herself. The more they trust themselves, the better. Lugui took Nuwa's hand and flew to the bullfighting palace with him, and in the palace complex, there was a large hall standing in the center. Lingxiao Palace. The door is closed. Open this door, and you will get the first ray of merit of the heavenly court. Lugui thought in his heart that in the heavenly court, there were not many benefits that could be had, but there was a trace of the emperor's luck. Although he had no interest in the emperor of the heavens, he would not resist merit. He slowly pushed the door open. At this time, the sun star, Daijun came out of the fixed realm. Second brother, Bai Zi begged me that day to unify the demon clan and become the emperor of the demon clan, not to be blinded by the Kunlun immortal court, and to protect the demon clan from being bullied by the Wu clan. I now feel that my opportunity has come. You go with me to the wilderness and take away the opportunity that belongs to me. Tai was pleasantly surprised when he heard this. Big brother, I said a long time ago that you were born to lead the demon clan. Let's go now. Daijun nodded, and took Tai to prepare to set off. At this time, the heavens and the earth shook, and Emperor Jun and Tai, or the beings in the wilderness, all sensed the birth of the opportunity. Dijun's face instantly turned pale, and he was a little angry. Let's go, someone is robbing me of my chance. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, Detective with 6 ears. Chapter 28. Lu Gui took Nuo's hand and pushed open the gate of Lingxiao Palace. A wisp of merit opened with the gate and fell on Lu Gui. This wisp of merit was a gift from heaven to the first emperor of the flood wilderness, but it was intercepted by Lu Gui. This wisp of merit made Lu Gui's strength skyrocket, although it would not rise to the middle stage of the quasi-saint in one go. But it also greatly improved his strength. That's not all, Lu Gui separated a trace of purple merit from this strand of merit. The host has found a trace of innate merit. Innate merits, there is still a trace of the merits of the heavenly Dao, which can be integrated into the Dingai Divine Needle and upgraded to the Dingai Divine Needle. It's an unexpected surprise. Lu Gui received the system prompt and was overjoyed. This wisp of innate merit can actually improve the Dingai God Needle? He thought about it for a while, hid this wisp of innate merit in his body, and used it later afterward. Nuo was pulled by Lu Gui, and she also got some merits, and instantly broke through the early stage of De Luo Jingxian and directly entered the middle stage. She couldn't close her small mouth, and she forgot to break free from Lu Gui's hand for a while. This. If the merit that Lu Gui received was the merit of the yang that belonged to the Emperor of Heaven, then Nuo was the merit of the yin. Her expectation of Ai's appearance made Lu Gui laugh. This is the innate merit that the heavenly Dao has left to the future Emperor and Queen of Heaven. If the two are combined, there are benefits. You ascend the disciple. Nuo knew that what Lu Gui said was reasonable, but she couldn't stand the meaning of his words, and blushed with shame. Lu Gui ignored her and walked straight into the hall. He looked at the throne in front of him, surrounded by stars. On the throne of the heavenly court, there is also a jade seal. Lu Gui sat on the throne of the Emperor of Heaven, and the Emperor of Heaven shook instantly, accompanied by a heavy rumbling sound. In an instant, the heavenly court appeared in the desolate world. The Emperor of Heaven was born, not. The beings in the desolation were all alarmed by the movement of the birth of the heavenly court, especially Honghuang in the Zixiao Palace, whose faces changed greatly. He pinched his fingers and found that Dijun and Taiyi were still frantically rushing towards heavenly court. Who is in the heavenly court? Who is it that broke my calculations? Honghuang couldn't figure it out, so he simply looked towards heavenly court. Six-eared, why is he? Damn it, this monkey. The six-eared macaque, sitting on the throne of the Emperor of Heaven, made Honghuang angry. This heavenly court and the position of the Emperor of Heaven were left by him to Emperor Jun. How could he let Lu'er take it away? The birth of heavenly court has exceeded the original expectations. Honghuang also saw that on the side of Kunlun Mountain, the eastern princes had already taken the immortals and flew towards the heavenly court. I can't find a dojo after trying my best. If I am born in the court today, it must be an opportunity given to me by the Taoist ancestor. When the Prince of the East thought of this, he couldn't help but speed up. It's messed up, it's messed up. Hongjuan's expression was gloomy, and he turned his gaze back to heaven to see how things should be handled. When he saw Lu Gui surrounded by stars, he was even more angry. In the heavenly court, Lu Gui sat on the throne of the Emperor of Heaven. Countless stars shone before his eyes. This is Zhou Tianxingdu. In this heavenly emperor's great seal, there is the law of the stars. It turns out that Emperor Jun can comprehend the Zhou Tian star Do great array, and it has anything to do with the position of the heavenly emperor. The heavenly emperor is in charge of the sky, representing the heavens and stars, and the two great formations of the demon clan that Emperor Jun will evolve in the future are the Zhou Tian star Do great array and the mixed Yun He Luo great array. Among them, Zhou Tianxingdu and Lu Gui have already understood that their feelings come from this throne and the Great Seal. This is also another gift that Tiandao left to Dijun, and now it has also been eaten by Lu Gui. This wave is not a loss. Lu Gui was immersed in the illusion of the Great Seal evolution Zhou Tianxingdu, and directly comprehended the law of the stars. The law of the stars was first formed. Made Lu Gui's combat power increase a lot in an instant. It's a pity that we can't occupy this place for long. Otherwise, I can also comprehend the Zhou Tian Star Do Great Array. Lu Gui sighed softly. Although the heavenly court was good, he did not dare to sit on the throne of the heavenly emperor. This position of the emperor of heaven is one of the calculations of the heavenly Dao, and whoever sits on it is unlucky. Comprehending the laws of the stars, there are already many laws that Lu Gui has comprehended. These include the law of war, Dacheng, the law of force, Xiaocheng, the law of darkness, Chukheng, the law of change, Xiaocheng, and the law of stars, Chukheng. After eating the benefits, it's time for me to go. After comprehending the law of the stars, Lu Gui knew that he should not stay for a long time. He glanced down at Nuwa, and found that Nuwa was also peeking at him. What, want to regret it? Lu Gui glared at Nuwa, who was aggrieved. Here you go. A huge sword flew out of her body and handed it to Lu Gui. This sword is colorful and has a scabbard, and the moment it appears, the surrounding space is distorted, which shows the power of this magic weapon. Lu Gui was overjoyed at the moment when Nuwa handed over the sword. Hongmeng Holy Sword. The Hongmeng Holy Sword is a treasure of innate merit in the wilderness. Just like the 24 grades of Qinglian and the Chaos Gourd of Lu Gui, it is an innate treasure. This sword is the first treasure of merit, and it is a few points stronger than Hongmen's measuring ruler, so the way of heaven is not tolerated. In the future, it will be split into 3 kinds of superb innate spirit treasures: the 4-treasure sword, the heavenly refining furnace, and the creation immortal ding. Nuwa mends the sky, refining the heavenly furnace and creating the immortal tripod will make great contributions. Although this sword is powerful, it is beyond the scope of Nuwa's control, and although Nuwa is accompanied by the sword, she has never taken it out. She was just struggling to maintain the Hongmeng Holy Sword. Unexpectedly, Lu Gui actually knew about it and hit it with the idea. Tiandao hasn't attacked the Hongmeng Holy Sword yet, let's take it first. Lu Gui didn't care about Nuwa's expression of being aggrieved and about to cry, and directly took away the Hongmeng Holy Sword. If I can find a way to keep the Hongmeng Holy Sword, I don't have to be afraid of the 3 treasures of the open heaven at all. The Hongmeng Holy Sword merged into Lu Gui's body, and instantly became violent, and Lu Gui used most of his strength to suppress the Hongmeng Holy Sword, thinking in his heart. At this time, in the heavenly court, the people of Emperor Jun and the eastern princes rushed into the heavenly court almost at the same time. Alarmed Lu Gui and Nuwa. Who is it that robbed me of my chance? Emperor Jun's anger was high, and the prince of the east was not to be outdone. Dijun, when did this heavenly court become yours? Tai, the prince of the east, others respect you as the head of the male immortals. If you dare to meddle in my eldest brother's chance, I will look good at you. The 2 sides are tense. They rushed in and happened to see Lu Gui, the monkey. Is that you? Prince Dijundong was dumbfounded the moment he saw the monkey. Why is this bastard everywhere? Lu Gui looked back and smiled. You are here. It's okay, it's like your own home. Emperor Jun and the Prince of the East were almost angry to death by the monkey's words. Monkey, are you going to rob me of the opportunity again? Tai pointed to Lu Gui angrily. This is my eldest brother's chance. If you rob it again, I will use the chaos clock to smash you to death. Oh. Lu Gui smiled. He had already turned the heavenly court bald, and naturally had no idea about this heavenly court. But brother Tai is very arrogant. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, detective with 6 ears. Chapter 29. Lu Gui squinted at Tai and despised it very much. Tai glared at Lu Gui, and he was also very unconvinced. Last time, he made a move with Lu Gui, but he was squeezed by this guy with words, and he didn't use the chaos bell to fight with him, and finally humiliated himself. He wouldn't be so stupid today. Over the years, Tai has cultivated the chaos bell, and his strength has improved a lot. Just find Lu Gui to calculate the accounts of more than 2,000 years ago. The Eastern Emperor Tai sacrificed the Chaos Bell and suppressed everything in the Lingxiao Hall in an instant. The Chaos Bell is one of the 3 treasures of the Open Heaven Divine Axe, the Chaos Supreme Treasure, and is also the companion treasure of Tai. The 3 treasures of Open Heaven also belong to the innate treasure, but they are more powerful than the ordinary innate treasure. The chaotic bell is chaotic and yellow, the sun, moon and stars, earth, water, fire, and wind surround it outside the bell, and there are mountains, rivers, and earth in the bell body, and the flood and desolation are looming in it. The 5-colored light shines on the heavens, and the chaos saint shocks the universe. Its power can imprison time and suppress space. Reflects the attack of any treasure divine weapon and ignores the damage of all avatar spells. Attack and defense are integrated, and they are undefeated on the head. Everyone looked at the Tai Chaos Bell body, faintly shaking the heavenly sound of the great Dao. The bell was mighty, the universe was brilliant, the heavens and the earth were discolored, the universe was shaken, and the power of the Chaos Supreme Treasure was undoubtedly revealed. The Eastern princes and others who planned to compete with Emperor Jun for the heavenly court were all shocked by Tai's divine might. Tai opened the heavens with the treasure in hand, and the desolate world was indeed invincible. Even if it is the 12 ancestral witches, the current Tai may not be able to match, and when the Chaos Bell appeared, everyone looked at Lu Gui with some schadenfreude. Lu Gui smiled. He fights to win the duel, and the Tao flows. At the moment when Tai rang the Chaos Bell, Lu Gui made a brazen move. At the beginning, it was the heaven-splitting divine palm. The earth, water, fire, and wind that Tai suppressed with the Eastern Emperor Bell were instantly struck away by the heaven-splitting god palm. Honghuang, who was observing Lu Gui from a distance, changed his expression greatly. This heavenly splitting divine palm is clearly a magical power that he imitated and passed down according to Pangukaishan, and there is no second person in this world except him. When did Lu Gui learn? The ability of these 6 ears to listen to heaven and earth has become so powerful. While Honghuang was thinking, the Chaos Bell and the sky-splitting god palm faced each other and boomed. The entire Lingxiao Hall shook, and the Eastern Emperor Tai and Lu Gui each changed their expression slightly, regardless of victory or defeat. However, Tai is even more uncomfortable, because his cultivation is not as good as Lu Gui. Lu Gui's strength shocked everyone. Above De Luo, quasi-saint. When the sentient beings in the flood wilderness were not yet quasi-saints, Lu Gui took the lead in entering the quasi-saint realm. This news made everyone confused. Lu Gui laughed and turned into the true body of the chaos demon ape. The demon god of chaos has reappeared above the flood wilderness. In the Zixiao Palace, Honghuang stood up suddenly, shocked. In the Lingxiao Palace, the immortals sensed that Lu Gui was many times more powerful than the 12 ancestral witches, and they were shocked. The Eastern princes and the other immortals who had planned to teach Lu Gui a lesson retreated one after another, and their scalps were numb. Lu Gui turned into the true body of the demon ape, and with one palm, he split the defense of the Tai Chaos Bell. Tai vomited blood, and Daijun hurriedly came up to save people. Lu Gui sneered, sacrificed a god-killing spear, and stabbed Daijun himself. Emperor Jun suddenly felt that death was coming, and his whole body was cold. Big brother. Seeing that Daijun was in danger, Tai bit the tip of his tongue and spit out a mouthful of blood. The chaos clock instantly erupted with an earth-shattering aura. I'd rather sacrifice my cultivation, Taoist Donghuang bell, don't smash it at Lu Gui. Lu Gui smiled. A purple-black gourd appeared behind him, blocking the Eastern Emperor bell. Big brother. The gourd behind Lu Gui is the innate treasure, the Chaos gourd. It was taken away by Lu Gui, and it has never been taken out, and at this time, the main body was used to block the Eastern Emperor bell, and a violent hurricane rolled up in Zixiao Palace. Lu Gui shot at Dijun's throat. Dijun closed his eyes in despair, thinking that he would die. This unlucky emperor, you want to sit, let it be given to you. Instead of killing Dijun, the monkey laughed, turned around and hugged Nuwa, and flew out of the heavenly court. Get out. Outside the Lingxiao Palace, there were also the immortals brought by the Eastern Prince. Lu Gui's monstrous war intent broke out, and everyone was so frightened that they were urinating. 6 heirs, you are lawless, you will be punished by heaven. The Prince of the East was embarrassed, and couldn't help but point at Lu Gui and scold. Lu Gui smiled. My life is up to me. You're just a dying man, shit. After Lu Gui finished scolding the Prince of the East, he turned around and flew towards the desolate world. The people who stayed behind Dijun and the Eastern princes were very angry. For the rest of his life after the catastrophe, Dijun was still afraid for a while, that monkey actually didn't kill himself. I don't know why. Big brother, are you okay? Tai hurriedly checked Dijun's situation, and Dijun wiped a cold sweat. Brother, I'm fine. He couldn't figure out why the monkey didn't kill himself. On the other hand, Nuwa couldn't figure it out. Monkey, the heavenly court emperor, why did you give it up? Nuwa couldn't figure it out, but she also reacted to the role of the heavenly court. The first person to sit on the throne of God can clearly become the emperor of the flood desolation. I don't know how many people's dreams there are. The monkey said give up and gave up. Didn't you still get the merit of the Queen of Heaven, why don't you sit? Lu Gui ridiculed Nuwa, and Nuwa was ashamed and angry. You. Don't you, me, don't ask so much, children, look at you so miserable, this stone is for you. Break it, there's a surprise. Lu Gui casually stuffed a piece of Tianzu stone heart into Nuwa and pinched it. Let's go. He easily threw Nuwa out of Buzhu Mountain. Nuwa didn't expect this monkey to be so lacking in morality. Don't ask him to pity the fragrance and cherish the jade, but don't treat her as a person. Finally, when she fell to the ground, Nuwa stabilized her body so as not to fall into a dog and eat. 6-eared, you can't die well. Nuwa was ashamed and angry, pointing at the 6-eared macaque and scolding. But Lu Gui had long since flown away. Sister, where did you go with the monkey? Fu 11 originally wanted to go to the heavenly court to check, but when he saw Nuwa falling from the sky, he hurriedly went over and asked. Big brother, I'm fine. Nuwa was so aggrieved that she was about to cry. She said a word to Fu 11 and went directly into her cave. Dead monkey. You. She cursed Lu Gui while playing with the Tianzu stone heart he handed her. The Tianzu stone heart had been pinched apart by Lu Gui, and Nuwa smashed it open effortlessly. Pangacalcedony. Nuwa saw the Pangacalcedony in the heart of the stone, and her pretty face was so shocked that she couldn't close her mouth. This monkey has a bit of a conscience. Nuwa looked at the Pangacalcedony in front of her with a complicated expression. With this drop of Pangacalcedony, her strength can be improved a lot. At this time, Lu Gui, who was cursed by Nuwa, did not have a good expression. The real reason why he abandoned Nuwa and left heavenly court was that the Hongmeng holy sword in his body was about to be unable to suppress it. Thief god, you want to separate the Hongmeng holy sword. I don't want to. Honghuang, fellow Taoist, please stop breaking the news. Author, detective with 6 ears. Chapter 30. The Hongmeng holy sword is the first ray of merit of creation when the heavens and the earth first opened. It is the first creation of the avenue. The world's merits are the most treasures, with the Hongmeng Holy Sword as the honor, followed by the Heaven and Earth Xianhuang Linglong Pagoda and the Hongmeng Measuring Ruler. However, just like other innate treasures in the desolate world, the heavenly Dao did not allow the existence of powerful treasures. Whether it is the creation of Qinglian or the Hongmeng Holy Sword, the number of days will cause them to split and become other spiritual treasures. Now that the Hongmeng Holy Sword has been handed over to Lu Gui from Nuo's hands, the time is ripe. The violent power of the Hongmeng Holy Sword was raging, and it immediately had the meaning of splitting. Hung Jun. Lu Gui found that the speed of the decomposition of the Hongmeng Holy Sword seemed to be a little fast. He didn't believe that there was no interference from anyone. In the Zixiao Palace, Hung Jun gently flicked the law and glanced at the six-eared macaque in the wilderness. These six-eared macaques flew madly towards the East China Sea. Hung Jun sneered, "The grasshopper shakes the tree, I don't know what it means. If it is forcibly suppressed, it will definitely die." As he spoke, he suddenly found a six-eared macaque that had disappeared in his senses. Hung Jun stood up suddenly. What's going on? He lost Lu Gui's figure again, and Hung Jun quickly pinched his fingers and counted nothing. Is this monkey weird? Dao ancestor Hung Jun's face sank like water, and he looked back in the direction of Heavenly Court. Found that the Eastern princes and Tai had already fought in order to compete for the Heavenly Court. On the side of the Eastern prince, Tai was seriously injured and overwhelmed Dijun as the head of the male immortals, and Dijun and Tai Yi fought hard. The two sides fought inextricably in the Heavenly Court. Later, Bai Zi, Ying Zhao and several other demon gods came with the army of the demon clan. There was a big battle between the Kunlun immortals and the demon clan. Emperor Jun and Tai repelled the Kunlun immortals. Finally angry, based on the Heavenly Court, set up the Demon Court. Since then, the Demon Clan Heavenly Court has been established, and the Kunlun Immortal Court has been defeated. And the two Immortal Courts took over the beam. All this is not expected. He was in a place at this time, suppressing the Hongmeng Holy Sword. The number of days can't be done. It's good that this place is isolated from the heavens. If it weren't for the flood road, I would be finished. Hey, which one of the three immortals' island is here? Lu Gui raised his eyes and looked around, looking at the surrounding scene. This is really one of the purposes of his visit to the East China Sea. Within the East China Sea, there are overseas islands of the three immortals. Penglai, Yingzhou, Abbot, three fairy islands. These three immortal islands are the evolution of the flood famine, when the chaos fragments fell into the flood famine, and they are self-contained worlds. This was true before they were launched. Only one day if someone is destined to let these three islands be born in the wilderness, the rules of the heavenly Dao will gradually penetrate into the three immortal islands, making the three immortal islands a part of themselves. Of course, this will definitely trigger heavenly merit, because the three immortals island does not belong to the flood desolation part, as long as Lu Gui now finds the control center of the three immortals island. And if you are willing to open up, the heavenly Dao will definitely bring down a lot of merits. In the original history of the flood wilderness, the Prince of the East finally found Penglai Island and got a lot of fairy fate. If it weren't for Tai being too strong, with these merits, he might really be the emperor of the flood desolation. Which fairy island is this? Lu Gui tried to recognize the origin of the island from the surrounding scenes. However, there was a gray atmosphere all around, just like before Pangu opened the sky. The rich chaotic aura here is worse than the chaotic blood sea in the Pangu Palace. Lu Gui wandered inside, felt the aura of chaos, turned into a chaotic air current, and washed Lu Gui's body. His quasi-holy chaos demon god's heels not only did not feel uncomfortable, but were very comfortable. After all, the place where the chaos demon god really lives is in the chaos. As a chaos demon god, he actually felt that the refining of the Pangu divine ape had made some progress. This is a natural place for body refining. Lu Gui is overjoyed. He followed the chaotic airflow and went directly to the deepest part of the island, and when he saw the lake formed by the three light divine water in the depths of chaos and the lotus blossom in the center, Lu Gui already understood where he was. 12 Pure World White Lotus. This is Penglay Immortal Island. Lu Gui naturally knew the name of this chaotic fragment, which was Penglay Immortal Island among the three overseas immortal islands. And the lotus platform in front of him, which can stabilize the chaotic airflow, is the 12-rank Pure World White Lotus. From the knowledge of his previous life, Lu Gui knew. Back then, the Chaos Supreme Treasure creation Blue Lotus decomposed and turned into countless treasures. Among them, there are 6 lotus seeds, which turn into 6 lotus platforms. Among them, the ripe lotus seed, fell on the Buzhu mountain, fused with the Buzhu mountain chi, and transformed into the innate treasure of the 24 products of the Qinglian, but it is a pity that the way of heaven does not allow it. More than 2,000 years ago, it was split into a coiled dragon flat crutch, 3 treasures and jade ruyi and Qingping sword. The other 5 turned into the best innate spirit treasure, and the 5 sides of the 12-rank lotus platform. A lotus seed falls in the netherworld blood sea, and the Styx river is accompanied by the 12 grades of karma fire red lotus. One fell in the abyss of the devil and became Rahu's 12-grade world-destroying black lotus. A golden lotus soaked in western merit water and achieved 12 merits is currently in Hongzhun's hands. These 3 lotus flowers will all shine in the future wilderness. There are only 2 remaining lotus flowers, the 12-rank pure world white lotus and the 12-rank reincarnation purple lotus. What Lu Gui sees now is the 12 pure world white lotus, standing in the 3 light divine water of the lake. I see, only so many 3 light divine waters can give birth to the pure world white lotus. Lu Gui said to himself, the 12-rank lotus flowers are all defense-oriented innate spiritual treasures. When it comes to defense, there are a few treasures in the desolate world, such as the Chaos Bell, the Taiji diagram, and the Heavenly King Yun. They are the most defensive. Among them, the pure world white lotus is known for its defense and healing. This grows in the 3 lights divine water, but it is consistent with its attributes. The 3 light divine water of a lake, when the Prince of the East was in the past, was really a tyrannical thing. Lu Gui knew that after the Eastern princes found Penglay Island, he didn't get much benefit because he opened Penglay Island rashly. The chaotic chi in Penglay Island will be leaked once it is leaked. This lake, the 3 lights divine water, and the pure world white lotus will also disappear. Blind, bastard. Lu Gui smiled and flew out to pick off the 12-rank pure world white lotus. He took out the purple gold red gourd again. Put all the water of 1 lake and 3 lights into the purple gold red gourd. With this gourd 3 light divine water, if I want to plant any spiritual root in the future, I can get twice the result with half the effort. Lu Gui was naturally overjoyed when he got these 2 treasures. He wandered around Penglay Immortal Island, and found a lot of natural treasures and acquired spiritual treasures. After scraping Penglay Immortal Island clean, Lu Gui couldn't find any other treasures. He simply retreated in the depths of chaos. Prepare to solve the problem of the Hongmeng Holy Sword. As soon as I go out, the Hongmeng Holy Sword will immediately split. Lu Gui knew that this was the inevitable fate of the Hongmeng Holy Sword, and in the future, Nuwa would need to refine the heavenly furnace as a magic weapon to replenish the sky. In Hongzhun's words, this is the number of days. But, why does he follow the one of the heavenly Dao? Today, I'm going to go against the sky. Lu Gui gritted his teeth and took out the chaos gourd from his arms. That's the key he's ready to use to break the game.